Hey, Damon, happy, what is, you know what, I'm going to get emotional. You know what? It's 9/11. It's
Yeah.
9/11 and 23 years ago. So, a little moment to reflect, everybody, if you're, above a certain age, everybody
Yeah.
knows exactly where you were, what was happening, what was going on 9/11, 8, you know, the 8:43, I think it was, the first plane hit. 8:47, 9:03, the second plane. And just our hearts, prayers. It's
Yeah.
just, it gives you chills. Brings tears to your eyes, makes you emotional. It's a, just a devastating thing. And here we are. Our country came so together
Yeah.
after that tragic
Yeah.
moment. And what's so unfortunate is you had to have such a tragedy. And we won't get it, we never talk about anything like that on the show, but you hear about
Yeah.
so much decisiveness today. But man, just it was just wonderful how our country came together and just lifted each other up and loved each other. And just a great day to kind of hug the family, love
Yeah.
everybody just a little bit more. And just, what are your thoughts?
Right. It changed our view of the world.
Yeah.
It changed our view of the world because before that, we really hadn't
Mhm.
hadn't known terrorism on our own soil.
Right. Right.
And yeah, it was crazy. But it
Crazy.
did. Like you said, I think anybody that was above a certain age knows exactly where they were when they saw it on
Mhm.
TV, when they heard
Mhm.
on it, and you're just like, what?
Mhm.
Doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
And now we live with it.
Yeah. And you know what? And there's a gentleman who, he was a client of mine probably 8, 9 years ago. And I bump into him at the gym once in a while. He was in one of the towers
Wow.
when it was hit. And he shares a very powerful story. And I was going to try to get him. I bump into him at the gym once in a while. I was going to try to bring him on, and it's such a gripping story to be in one of the towers.
Yeah.
And sort of, and maybe someday I'll drag him on. But it's
Yeah.
so anyway, so let's, we're here to, we're going to talk about LinkedIn Live. But just again, another great shout out to our amazing, incredible country. And regardless about what you feel, man, just, is there a better place to be than here? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day.
End of the day. So, all right. So, all right, let's move forward. LinkedIn Live. Let's talk about, so we're talking about LinkedIn Live as a business development sales tool strategy. What I'd love to dive into, Damon. So, you've done a handful of live shows in your time, right?
I've done four.
For a couple here and there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about like how I want the methodology of like who you bring on, that particular person, what's the subject that you're trying to bring out. Like, this takes a lot of time. It takes energy. Everything is an opportunity cost, right? Every minute that we spend doing this is something that we're not doing somewhere else. Why do you choose to make this such a priority? Why has this been such a great business development tool for you?
Yeah. Okay. Every minute is important, right? So when I look at the guests that come on to the live stream shows, I always think about, okay, is this a guest that's going to help my soulmate customers? Am I going to learn from it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this potentially a soulmate customer? Or is this someone that can be part of my referral network?
Mm-hmm.
And you really have to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we go through the process of what we're trying to share in that episode or in that show overall, how does that align with what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're selecting guests, if I'm saying, listen, I want this guest to could be a potential referral partner.
Mm-hmm.
I go out there and I'm looking for these kind of people. I look for people that share the same values and those kind of things. And then you typically, my process, I know this is similar to your process, is invite them to talk, have a conversation to see if coming on the show, sharing something about what they're doing now. And usually if you can understand specifically what you'd like them to share, it's even better. But then having that conversation and learning more about them in the conversation, to me, is really the part of it that helps me to determine, is this going to be a good guest for the show? Is this not? Or is this someone that would be a good person to work with or not? And those, working through those steps is what I try to do with any guests, and really make sure that we understand what the outcome of that episode is going to be for them.
Yeah, I love what you're saying there. So strategically, thinking about, first off, what is information, what is content that maybe your current customer base wants to hear? What's
Yep.
information that a problem that they're looking to solve that is not your area of expertise, but boy, you have a good friend, a colleague, a referral partner, someone in your network, and again, somebody that you want to make as a referral partner or a potential customer to reach out to and say, hey, Damon, dude, like, you are amazing. Love your content that you're putting out on LinkedIn. Love all this information. I think my crowd, my audience would love to hear your expertise.
Yep.
Makes me look a little bit better. I don't need to be the smartest guy in the room. So bringing on that person, and again, if you reach out to somebody like, hey, when somebody needs, the service that I provide or the solution that I provide, you should be thinking of my business, my company, my service, But when I come to you and just, you and I recently just read the same book by Bob Berg.
Yeah.
He wrote a second book called Go Giver. Talk a little bit about how you really can be just such a fierce go giver with a LinkedIn Live strategy.
Yeah, I think if you adopt, and I recommend going reading Bob's book. He's got several good books. That one, Endless Referrals, the Go Giver is great. Endless Referrals is great too. But even beyond him, Zig Ziglar always said, for decades ago, said that if you can help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you desire, and that's true. And I think when you look at this and you think about what you can share in a live stream, how you can help the people listening. How you're going to help the people listening is really when you keep that focus and bring the right people on, share the right information that you can learn from, your guests can learn from, and everybody can benefit from, even the person that you bring on, because obviously they're exposed to a different audience and those kind of things, is really how you're giving and how you elevate yourself in the minds of the listeners, in the minds of the guests, in the minds of anyone that would come in contact with that content later on, that you're out there helping people, and you will be more top of mind by doing that.
Yeah. And another, I'm going to butcher this quote, it's like people, I'm not even going to try it, but it's just people want to know how much you care, right?
Yeah.
How much do you care about them? And so again, reaching out to that person, you're accomplishing multiple things by doing LinkedIn Live, where you're bringing on you're reaching out to that person and saying, hey, I'd really like to highlight what you do, your expertise. And I think my audience, whether I have a client base of 10 or 10,000, I think my client base would like to hear your expertise. They're like, man, really? First off, you think that much of me, you admire that, and I can have access to your audience. Thank you very much. So now, you're strengthening that relationship. Then for that person that is listening to that subject matter expert, they're like, man, Damon, you hang out with that person, that, the Allison DeFords, the Wesleyan Whitakers, these other smart folks, these people that are just super passionate about what they're doing. So it doesn't matter. I have a lot of clients where they're like, hey, that's great if you're selling services. What do you do if you sell products? Or somebody that's selling products, they're like, okay, well, if I'm selling products, how do I do this for, if they're, or I'm sorry, vice versa, for services or solutions, right? And it's not about your product. It's not about your solution. It's about the relationship.
Yes. Because you're not there to promote your product or services as the major focus of an episode ever. Really, you're just there to talk about it and share good information that your audience will enjoy,
right,
and learn from. That's what it is. And yes, you're going to be able to mention a product or service, how it helps in some situations if it comes up, but really it comes back to the know, like, and trust. And people have to get to know you first before they're going to ever do anything. And this is the way that they can do that. They can learn from where you're doing and become comfortable with who you are and what you stand for.
Right. And then let's slide into the education piece, right? We love to preach, how do you out teach the competition? So the great thing is with a LinkedIn Live, if you just come in as that fierce educating mindset, unapologetically of, I don't care if you are bending metal, cutting steel, making circuit boards, 3D printing, you're an accountant, financial planner, whatever service, whatever, your value that you bring to the market, how you make the world a better place by coming on a LinkedIn Live and just educating. I have a daughter going off to college, man. She's next year. And so like I'm like full blown, preparing for college. So I'm taking all these webinars, of like, how does this work? How does that work? Because I'm the dumbest guy in the room. I don't know. I haven't gone through, this is my first time at my age going through this process. So I'm just a sponge of getting information because I want to do this right. So think of your buyer out there, or the person that has, like you provide incredible expertise for people that want to sell a business. I mean, outside of your kids, your family, like what's more important than your business, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, just share a little bit about like, how with Faces of Business, the types of guests that you bring on, the information that you want to provide, like what do you want people to take away when they watch or see Faces of Business?
Well, I want them to be able to learn something, and and specifically learn enough to be dangerous in the subject we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Not that you're gonna like go through, if you want to learn something in detail, you have to do seminars, you have to go and do some additional training kind of thing. But it's the kind of thing that we have so many business owners out there that don't have a heck of a lot of time, but they have to make all these different decisions. Mm-hmm. And if you don't even know what questions to ask when someone comes at you to go, what should we do about this for taxes or marketing or finance or growth or whatever the heck you're working on, if they can just understand what are 2 or 3 questions I should ask from it, mm-hmm. around it, so I can make a better decision that I feel comfortable about. That's really all you're going to get done in that amount of time. And hopefully we can do that once in a while and bring on the experts that have that can explain it well enough. So you go, oh, I've got 3 questions now I can ask somebody. If they talk about someone comes to me in my business and says, hey, you should do a new website because of this. Go, okay, why would tell me that these are the 3 questions I have around it. And then you go, okay, I can make a better decision whether or not I need to do that. Or do we need to do this financially? Do we need to do this from organizationally? There's just a lot of things you can learn by just getting enough to be dangerous.
And dude, I feel like you're just hitting it right on the head, right? How to help people make a better decision.
Yeah.
And when you think about the product, the service, the solution that you provide to the market, okay, that person does, a lot of times we take things for granted, right? We do, whatever we do, whatever you do, we do, it's like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Does somebody need to teach you or explain to you how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich? You just do it. But if you had explained it to somebody who, just came from another planet and never seen it before, right? It's like, okay, step by step. Yeah. Selling your business, I can tell firsthand, it is, I don't know if there's anything more emotional. I probably, it is such an emotional event. Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, you're pouring your heart and soul. And when you can create an entity that somebody else wants to buy, so I don't want to go in a rabbit hole there, but when you, a Damon Pastulka, can provide the information, tax consequence, what should I sell it for? Who should I sell it to? What does it look like? What's the transition? When I sell it, what does my life look like after? Mm-hmm. And if I could, the famous saying, if you're on a path, talk to people on the way coming back, right? If I can talk to other experts to walk me through this, to prevent those catastrophic, it's not going to be perfect, but those mistakes, so I love what you're saying there about helping people make a better decision.
Yeah. And it's really then it's because if we as live streamers use LinkedIn Live to share that information to help people make better decisions, mm-hmm. they will then see how we relate to and how we help people make informed decisions rather than, how we're selling our product or services. Because at the end of the day with LinkedIn Live or another and live streaming in general I think you can drastically change the way you sell because I'm helping people getting to know, like, and trust us, me, what we're doing, how we do it.
Right.
Much farther than anyone else that's going to not be helping people make better decisions.
Right. we'll start winding down. You'll love this example. So I have a client, this client very well, my ground strap guy, right?
Yeah.
And so they finally they decided they're not doing lives, but they're going in that direction, right?
Yeah.
And they're actually thinking about it. So the gentleman that's shooting, so now they're now like all in on videos, just shooting. They're just going to go all in. That's their direction. The gentleman that's shooting the videos, started out at the small custom manufacturer on the floor.
Yeah.
Been there for 15 years, started on the floor. He's now, climbed up the ladder, very small family business.
Yeah.
He's climbed up and now he's shooting the videos. The you can just see the pride that this guy has. He was like, I started on the floor and now I'm like, he's become like the face of the business. And he looks at me, he goes, you know what? He goes, I want to start live streaming. And the reason I want to live stream is he's a huge sports collector, huge, right? And the baseball cards, of this, that. So he goes to shows, national shows, or whatever.
Wow.
He's like, when I go to the shows, there's guys that I watch on live stream every day. Every day I watch these. He goes, and I feel like I know them. I go to the show and I walk up to them. I'm like, I don't mean to sound creepy, but I feel like I know you because I've been watching you live streaming. And so now he wants to start doing that himself. He goes, I know these guys. I like these guys. I trust these guys because I watch their lives every day. He goes, that's what we're going to start doing. And they saw what, can you think of anything more, boring than ground straps? And that's what they're going to start doing.
And really, that's a great example because it doesn't matter what your product or service is.
It doesn't matter. Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
But you have a bunch of potential customers out there, existing customers out there, fans out there, that if you are live streaming, it will help you. It will help you and it will help them. That's the thing. It will help them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, our dear friend Trish is here today. Trish, happy Wednesday to you. Trish says, I love this educating informed decision makers service and know, like, trust. Speaking of know, like, trust, man, how do you know, like, or trust Trish Stewart more than ever? So Trish, happy Wednesday to you. Thanks for joining us. By. So, man, what a dear friend. She just connected me with somebody last week, you talk about, and she's been a dear friend on the show multiple times. And so Trish, send you positive vibes today. So Damon, let's start winding down. So again, we're talking LinkedIn Live, why, it's really no longer a nice to have. It is a must to have. What are your thoughts?
I think the biggest apprehension that people have is, I don't know if I want to be on camera. It's going to be technically hard, all that kind of stuff. And really, I mean, if you have friends in real life, if you have people that you hang out in the physical world,
you if you have to have friends. Did you say like, because I can't have a lot.
No, I said if.
Oh, yeah. I
preference to have with if, but it's no different. It's no different than you're hanging out at your local, community event, talking with people. Right. That's what it is. And it's not any harder than that from a technical standpoint, really, because we've shown that in our live streaming course, free live streaming course. They can look at that and they can see, listen, here are the steps to do it. And once you look at it, you go, yeah, there's some steps, there's some things I have to do, but it's no harder than, a lot of other things we do right now. And it's not difficult.
It's not difficult. And so we could go on and on. I'm sorry to keep it. So our dear friend Joseph used to be at Impact Washington. You remember our dear friend Joseph? He just started his own business. He has a consulting business. Talked with him the other day. It's taken off. Just what a great guy, man of integrity. I just wish him massive success. You know how his business took off? Through BNI. And so if you're not familiar with BNI, great networking organization. It's national. Mm-hmm. You and I we went to a BNI meeting in Alaska. Remember that?
Yes, we did.
A year ago, last year. We went to a BNI meeting in Anchorage, Alaska. It was just so rewarding. My goodness, there was like over 30 people in the room. Yes. And they are just fierce networkers, just helping each other. And Joseph shared like his business has taken off immediately within months, thanks to BNI. And this is an opportunity here where you can create your own little, if you're not familiar with it, Google B&I, you know, I'm sure your community, you could have the smallest community, you're going to have a B&I group. And it's just a great little, it's a networking community. You can create the same thing here on LinkedIn Live. All right. Trish says, okay, you guys are inspiring me to try this. Can you drop the link? Can you drop the link? So Trish, I'll email that over to you.
Yeah.
Damon, why don't we wind down? Parting thoughts, words of wisdom that you want to share?
You know, I think the people that are not using LinkedIn or live streaming for their building relationships, business development, whatever you want to call it, are missing out on a great opportunity to help a lot of people and grow your sales. Just honestly, that's what it is.
Just grow. Hey, and so Trish says thanks, and then hey, before we close
Diane.
out, so man, Diane Byer, Damon, wait till we have a call with Diane coming up. Diane, appreciate you. Thank you more than you can imagine. Just we have wonderful folks here, Trish and Diane, sending you guys tons of just respect, admiration, love. So thank you guys both. Damon, let's close out today on this wonderful day. You know, just be a little more patriotic today. Send a little bit more, you know, hug your loved ones a little tighter. And so, guys, we will see you back here soon. God bless you. See ya.
Have a great day, everyone.